Hey everyone, this mini PC is close to perfect if you're not planning to game on it, because in that case there's a big issue. But it seems fixable, so let's talk about that.
This is Hubwood.
It's the PELADN WO4, another mini PC. But this one really surprised me because, and I have to show that to you first, you can open it so quickly, so easy, just like that. No tools needed. I want this for like every mini PC, god damn it. You can even upgrade the RAM and add a second M.2 SSD, or since it's just so easy, we could also install an Oculink adapter card here to use a faster Oculink eGPU compared to a Thunderbolt 4 one, which would work with the USB-C port at the back of the mini PC. Now spec-wise, this comes with a 6-core 12-thread Ryzen 5 7640HS that also includes the Radeon 760M, slightly slower than the Radeon 780M in many well-known gaming handhelds like the Asus ROG Ally and Ally X or Legion Go. But PELADN is packing this baby with a whopping 32GB of 5600 megatransfer RAM and a pretty fast 1TB SSD, which is quite nice of them, especially for the price. And right now, at the making of this video, this seems to only cost around $500 or so, and the RAM and the SSD already cost around $350 right now. So I'm not sure if that price is going to raise like really fast, because otherwise that would be an absolute steal. Well, of course, it also supports the usual stuff like Wi-Fi 6E and Bluetooth. It comes with a charger and Windows and an HDMI cable. Now, one could surely argue about the style of the PELADN WO4. The black plastic case design with the orange line and the orange button, the silver logo and the big fan grids at the sides surely do have a strong, well, retro vibe. And with almost 13 by 13 by 5 centimeters, it's not the smallest mini PC ever. Now, one design decision came to my attention. At the underside of the top lid in here, there seems to be a dedicated area to install a 2.5-inch HDD or SSD drive. Now, SSDs aren't affected by magnets at all, but installing a classical HDD right next to 4 magnets, that's, well, that's certainly an interesting design choice. However, I don't know how and where to actually plug in such a drive. There are no additional cables included, though I found 2 4-pin connectors on the WO4's mainboard, while I would prefer to use them for additional fans. And why is that? While we're speaking of it, I really have to talk about a big problem, and somehow no other review I found seemed to talk about this. Heavy thermal throttling, which only seems to happen in games. And no, it's neither the CPU, GPU, nor the SSD, it is the RAM. This does not affect everyday usage, only happened in gaming, but no matter which game. It didn't seem to affect video editing or watching videos. Now, what I found out is that after around 5 minutes in any game, heavy stuttering would occur and the game would become unplayable. Just as you can see here, the frame time graph was all over the place and walking around is becoming terrible. I was checking the CPU-GPU temp and that wasn't it. Now, once we're opening the lid, however, the stuttering would become less intense and after around 30 to 40 seconds, it would be gone. And it would not return as long as the case was open. So it is in fact a design issue with the upper chamber of the mini PC, which also contains the RAM. And I was in contact with PELADN about this and they sent me a replacement unit, which is this one, and well, that one had the same issue. Now, they claimed this would be fixed with future units, but I cannot guarantee for that yet. However, with the case opened, casual gaming would actually be very possible, and we'll take a look at some games later. Oh, and using it vertically like this might not be a good idea, as I had a quite silent but noticeable rattling/clicking sound when I did that. Probably something touching the fan or so. Other than that, the temperatures in here and the fan noise are perfectly fine. The mini PC is in fact super silent most of the time, kinda outstanding really. And even under heavy load, it is pretty quiet and bearable. So kudos to PELADN considering CPU temps and fan noise, but a big no-no to the RAM temps. By the way, the BIOS is pretty simple, offers no performance modes or anything like that, and there is no control center of any kind. So using the Windows performance settings is all we can do. For everyday usage, it's super fast thanks to the well-performing SSD, 32 GB of RAM and 12 threads. 12,900 points in Cinebench R23 with 1,733 for the single-core test. A solid 6,828 points in PC Mark X, 6,746 points in 3D Mark Firestrike, decent 8,156 for the Patches Systems Photoshop benchmark, and 2,858 for the Premiere Pro benchmark. Around 7.5 watt power usage on idle for the whole mini PC and around 85 watt on the full load when gaming. And now let's also have a look at some games, which I of course tested with the case opened, and I recorded it at a separate PC. For ARC Raiders, I was actually using a higher resolution in combination with upscaling via TSR, which seemed to work better for me than FSR or XeSS, considering performance and picture quality. Around 1440p at 50% render resolution, still acceptable visually with 52 FPS on average using low settings and 1% loss of around 32. Some areas seemed a bit harsher on the frame times, but overall it was doable, including killing a leaper, looting lots of stuff, rescuing another raider and extracting in an 18-minute long benchmark session. CS2 was absolutely playable at 1080p using the low preset, which also activates FSR. 153 FPS on average and 1% loss of 91 FPS. Without FSR, it would be around 120 FPS, and you could still make use of a fast refresh monitor in that case, so not that bad actually. No frame time issues thanks to the open case here, very playable. And I was also testing an older game with Fallout 4 at 1080p with medium settings that got me a pretty stable 60 FPS basically all the time over a 10-minute benchmark run. While the frame time graph looks weird here, I didn't feel any issues when actually playing the game. Might be a specific setting causing this, I didn't mind to be honest. It worked perfectly well and absolutely playable like this if you ask me. You know, all in all, I would call this one of the best mini PCs I've tested yet. Great price, good performance, super easy upgrade access, very silent, staying cool, upgradable, solid port selection, if it wasn't for that RAM throttling problem with a closed case. If you're not gaming though, this could be a no-brainer. If you're okay with gaming with an open case, well, go for it, just be aware. And that's all for today. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to subscribe to the channel and of course, like the video. Thank you so much. Also, thanks a lot for watching. See you next time. Bye bye and tschüss.